Challenge accepted.
In this video, I want to discuss manipulating hexadecimal values in a Nintendo ROM. Now firstly, what the heck am I talking about? Well, there is a value in this game that dictates the maximum height that I can jump. There's also values that dictate my X and Y positions on the screen. Those two lives on the top left, there's a value for that too. If we have the right software and knowledge, we can adjust those values, and this is one of the ways that ROM hacks are made. Now there are four things that we're going to need in order to manipulate hex values. Now the first is the ROM itself. Now as you can see, we're using the USA release of Contra. Now there's two files here and I'll explain that later. Second, you need an emulator. Now I'm using Nestopia. Now you can use whichever one you want, it really doesn't matter. Third, we need a hexadecimal editor. Now I'm using this program here. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but it works for me. Now I know that some emulators come with hex editors built in. I'm not a fan of those because I prefer using a separate program. It's just easier for me to see what I'm doing. Finally, we need a guide. Now without a guide, we're essentially going in blind. Now you'll notice there's no variable titles. All of these labels are numbers. And so without a guide, you'd have to test each value separately to figure out what they represent. Before we carry on, I just want to say that this is not meant to be an in-depth guide. This is a way for you to get your feet wet, to have some fun modifying the game. Alright, now the first step is to make a backup of your ROM. For speedrunners out there, we do this so that we don't accidentally use a hacked ROM for runs. That would be very awkward. For everyone else, we do this because of how easy it is to accidentally break the game. You might adjust a number, attempt to test the game, and find that suddenly you can't shoot, or even worse, the game doesn't even load. Turns out you accidentally adjusted the wrong number. Now how do you figure out which number needs to be corrected? Just to quickly explain, the numbering system we use in day-to-day life is base 10, that is to say 0 through to 9. Hexadecimal is base 16, which is 0 through to 9, and then the letters A through to F. So if you wanted to write 12, for example, you wouldn't actually write a 1 and then a 2, you'd write a C. Alright, now that we've finished with the preparations, let's look at how we actually read this table and modify figures and stuff. If you look on the left hand column here, all of these numbers that have a 000 in front of them, those are your labels. That's the code that you are referring to. So if we look in our guide, if we wanted to look for example, the 8-way turret, the code is 1EEC1, which is this one here. Specifically, we're looking for the first four characters here, 1EEC, because that tells us which column, which row it is. To figure out which column, we look at the last number in this code, which is 1. And don't forget this is hexadecimal, so we're starting with 0 and then 1. Therefore, this number is what the HP, or shows us what the HP is set to for the 8-way turret. But we want to have some fun. So let's adjust the HP of Running Man. Running Man here refers to trolls, and the code we're looking for is 1EEC5. Remember, it's 1EEC first. Alright, let's scroll down to 1EEC, which he'll be pretty near the bottom. 1EEC, so we're going further to there. 1EEC, we know it's in this row. And it's 5, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there we have it, HP as per the default, according to the guide over here, is set to 1. Let's adjust this thing to 8, shall we? 0, 8. Let's save. Now, we double check, we always double check, so we'll confirm by highlighting this this line, sorry. 1EEC0, 1EE, where is it? 1EEC5, 0 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we get 0. Yeah, that is correct. We hit the right column, the right row. Also, double check we're saving to the correct file, which we are. So let's save. Now, if we've done this correctly, our trolls should no longer take 1 hit to kill, they should take 8. Let's load Nestopia. which is already loaded. That will be, okay, something else to note, when you make a change, you will have to reload the ROM. It's not enough to just do a reset, because remember, the ROM is loaded into memory. The other thing is, if you get text here that says corrupt ROM or corrupt file, you know you messed up somewhere. So that's something else to note. Alright, so let's see. Instead of 1 hit, it should be 8 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably 6. Yeah, so it looks to be 8 hits to me. It looks like the adjustment is actually working. Yeah, that's brilliant. What I will do is I'll leave links to the editor and guide that I've used in this video for you guys to download if you want to experiment and have fun. And I'll end this video by giving you one more little piece of advice. We've been adjusting HP values, which is a very simple thing because it's only one number, right? It's a single value that has no effect on anything else in the game, really. But if you wanted to adjust something more complicated, like, for instance, the rate of fire for a specific weapon, well, that's a heck of a lot more complicated. That's a whole lot more variables that are involved in the programming of that situation. Because if you think about it, if I shoot to the right, well, that's a different value to if I shoot to the left. Those are two different values that have to be saved in two different places. As a matter of fact, you can fire in 8 directions in this game, which means at minimum, you're going to have to adjust 8 values. Take another example, jump height. You want to adjust jump height, well, there could be multiple values involved in calculating what your maximum jump height is. And it's not always going to be as simple as, well, we just add 2 onto each value. It could be one value you add 2, but the next value you actually subtract 1 to make it match. So it can get really complicated really quickly. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that what I've done in this video is I've scratched the surface. If you want to learn more about this stuff, I'd recommend watching more YouTube videos. All that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.